And then movie news, there are some really kind of seismic shifts, some big announcements going on that are going to change things and also filling in a lot of the details. And actually, this is an active development section. There is something that was still breaking news as I just kind of had to pull the plug and decide to film this week's episode. So very likely by the time this goes up, there will be more information. We're going to get to that though. We're going to get to that. Second, we have The Mummy is rising again. This time it seems it's going to be a legitimate horror option from the Evil Dead Rise director Lee Cronin for Blumhouse. We're going to get there. And then the third big one is kind of a bummer for Street Fighter fans because, yeah, there's been some roadblocks. That is all happening. There is some more blockbuster stories going on in the movie section, so let's go check them out. Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. You are about to watch the movie news for the week, at least since the last time you were here, probably. So, movie news, this is a smaller portion of a larger video. If you want to get all of the nerdy news, all of the pop culture stuff that's going on, go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy. The name of the show you're looking for is called The Week in Nerddom, and that's where you can get everything. Or you can just stay here and specifically watch movie news. We're going to talk about upcoming movies. We're going to talk about things that are happening in the box office right now, see how they're doing, that kind of stuff, and yeah, the kind of everything pertaining to movies. So let's jump into that. Follow-ups and corrections in movies is basically 90% of the section. We have no regular as news, but let's start with follow-ups. First up, The Batman Part 2 is no longer on the release slate for Warner Brothers. That's not to say that it's been canceled though. That is also not to say that the actual movie that they were working on has been shelved to any degree. Really, all this is they're renaming the movie because there is still, and it's now listed as Untitled Batman Sequel and not The Batman 2, because apparently The Batman 2 was just a placeholder, which makes sense. So nothing has really changed. I don't even think the date changed at all, but people are reading way too far into this. This is nothing significant. This is just business as usual. We're to the point now where they need to give it a proper title, and so they gave it a different temporary title because that way we know it's a temporary title, right? So whatever, moving on. Street Fighter. Street Fighter is the other really big follow-up this week. Street Fighter, the new movie, Sony and Legendary Pictures teaming up to bring us something eventually, maybe, because it has just been pulled. This one has legitimately been pulled from the release slate. It was originally set for March 20th of next year, so approximately a year from now exactly. But it's on some sort of indefinite delay. No details are known as to what exactly that indefinite delay are. I feel like if we can strike the right chord with this one, it's going to do incredibly well. So I can't imagine it's going to stay in this state of limbo, but probably get moved back would make a little bit of sense because Sony's trying to reshuffle their corporate structure as well, what with the failures of all of their Marvel adjacent movies anyway. So let's not hold our breaths though. It very well could just be canceled and they're just going through the motions at this point, or just gets pushed back. As we get information, I will follow up and you will come back to the show for that information. Next up, we have The Mummy. We have a casting announcement. Jack Reynor, who you'll recognize from The Peripheral and Midsommar. He has been cast, but no word as to specifically who he's been cast as, what part he's playing. So there's been speculation that he could be playing the Mummy. I don't feel like that's accurate. I feel like more probable is they're going to get an established name, somebody a little bit more established, I guess, to play the Mummy, since it's going to be, I don't know, that's just the read I get off of it. I can't necessarily put it into words, but Jack Reynor, being a fairly young actor in Hollywood right now, I think makes sense that he would probably be put into a lead role akin to, though not the same as, because it's going to be a very different movie, but akin to the Brendan Fraser role from the Mummy from the 90s. Also of note here is director Lee Cronin, who, like we said at the top, oh god, what did he direct? Where did it go? Movies. Lee Cronin. Evil Dead Rise. Good lord. I knew that. But Lee Cronin has said that this is going to be a legitimate horror movie. It's going to be different than any Mummy that we've seen before. I think there's a direct quote in here from him. No, it was a paraphrase. Different, unlike anything we've ever seen, and very frightening is the paraphrase. So yeah, super excited for that because we know that he's got the chops to do such things. Also very interested to see what Jack Raynor can bring to the movie, assuming he is some sort of lead. And that's what we got for that one. Let's move on. The next one is the currently developing piece. And then there's an adjacent piece to it as well. But developing right now, as I'm filming this, they are still announcing, because we'll get into that. Avengers. So the Avengers Doomsday cast is actively being announced right now. The live stream up on the Marvel channel on YouTube has been going for a couple hours at this point because they're revealing the actors one person at a time every 12 minutes approximately. The list, as I stopped taking the notes and came upstairs to film, the list is as follows for returning actors. We have Chris Hemsworth, Vanessa Kirby, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Letitia Wright, Paul Rudd, Wyatt Russell, Tanak Huerta Meja, Ibn Mas Bacharach, Simu Liu, Kelsey Grammer, Lewis Pullman, Joseph Quinn, and Winston Duke. As I said, there are very likely many more that have been announced since I started filming, as I've been filming for much longer than 24 minutes. But none of these are really a big question mark. Like we kind of already, Kelsey Grammer I think is one of the bigger question marks. So the fact that he's being listed is super interesting. But right as it stands, like we don't have Chris Evans on here would be a huge one. We don't have Scarlett Johansson. We know she's probably not coming back anyway. We don't have, honestly, anyone from, except for Sebastian Stan, we don't have anyone from the Thunderbolts movie. Like there's still a lot of big question marks for characters who might be returning. We don't have the Hulk on here. I'm gonna brain fart his name because I don't care. Yeah, just it's been coming very, very slowly through their YouTube channel, and emphasis on very slow, and nothing really majorly developing at this moment. Again, the Kelsey Grammer one, while it is it was a bit of a question mark because people wrote his cameo off as just a cameo, this probably is also just a cameo, just saying. The other MCU thing that we have here though is Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen has said in kind of no uncertain terms, though I would say there's very likely still a possibility that she's more bluster than I think she's letting on, but she has said in no real uncertain terms that she is not going to be returning to the role of the Scarlet Witch. She is actually not going to be returning to the MCU because of artistic reasons. She wants to be an artist. When she signed on to the MCU, she didn't realize how much of her life it was going to take over. I'm paraphrasing, but she said something like this in the interview. She didn't realize how much of her life it was going to take over, and she wants to do things for the art of acting and not just crank out a movie every year because that's what Marvel wants, which is commendable to a large degree, honestly. So yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Like I said at the beginning of the season, this is going to be a big merch push season. We are jumping in to doing the merch. I have the first specialty piece lined up. That's probably going to drop next month though, so we're looking at April for our first specialty piece. So jump in now, get yourself some basic nerd shirts, just the real basic design. Let the world know that you are a nerd and you love the things that we talk about on this show. In the broad strokes, at the very least, there's the music nerd, there's the movie nerd, there's the gaming nerd and the tech nerd and all of the different kinds of nerds that we embrace here at Generally Nerdy, and then all of the other ones. If you feel like your category has been missed, please by all means let me know and I will make a shirt based on that information, assuming I agree with said information. But either way, merch push, go check out the merch store. We got some pretty awesome stuff, and I'm actually quite proud of these designs because I did them all by hand. So thank you very much, nerds. Go check out the merch store. Don't forget to, pick something up while you're there. helps the channel a lot. As soon as we can start regularly getting merch out, I can start cutting back hours at the day job. That's how this works. I can focus more on entertaining and informing you guys. So thank you very much, nerds. Let's get back to the video. That, though, is what we have for our follow-ups and corrections. Let's get into trailers. We should have talked about this oh no, the reason we didn't talk about this last week is because it released as I was editing last week's episode. But the Toxic Avenger trailer for the new Toxic Avenger movie is out, and you can go watch it, and it's hilarious, and again, feels like they understand what the hell they're doing. Next up is a new Shudder original horror movie called Clown in a Cornfield. The reason this one is a little bit more notable than the rest of the Shudder original schlock is it's from the director of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which is one of the best horror comedies of the last like 20 years. Like, it's legitimately a good movie. So yeah, that's noteworthy in and of itself. Release date for this one, May 9th, over on Shudder. Go watch the trailer. Doesn't really look like this one's gonna be a comedy, but it is dealing with a few clowns. Like, it looks like multiple clowns. Like, go watch the trailer and tell me I'm wrong, but like, it looks like there's at least 2, possibly even 3 different clowns in the trailer. So moving right along, though, with trailers, we have Final Destination Bloodlines has given us another trailer. The release date on this one is May 16th. Little bit of a worry on this one. We talked previously about how they're reviving, going back to their roots, a lot more of the gritty, like, extreme kind of torture porn kills that we got in the first 2 or 3 movies that have been largely absent, and they've been very neutered movies because just the talent behind making these movies of late has not been very good. But we talked about when they did the teaser trailer a few weeks ago now, how it looks like they are legitimately returning to form. This trailer casts a little bit of doubt on that, and also potentially gives us about half of the kills in the trailer. So kind of be warned, there is some blood. It's not exactly a red band trailer, but I think it is still technically a red band trailer, if you understand what I'm saying. It still looks better than like the last 4 or so movies in the franchise, so that at least is still going for it, but otherwise, I don't know. It's a little, I don't think so. And then our last trailer for the episode is a new movie called Screamboat. If you remember a few months ago, I think it was January, the rights to Mickey Mouse, the original Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, became public domain, which means you can use Steamboat Willie version of Mickey or some sort of variation thereof to make whatever you want. You can't use modern Mickey Mouse. There's a lot of delineation between that version of Mickey and modern Mickey. It's really easy to find if you're interested. It's irrelevant to our story, though. A Screamboat is a horror movie that is going to be produced by the same people that produced the second and third Terrifier movies. This is a prime example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. This trailer, although to their credit, it very well could be bad on purpose, like so bad it's good kind of bad on purpose. That's what they're going for, at least. The setup is it's a cruise ship, or not even a cruise ship. It's like a party barge kind of thing, like those casinos on the lake kind of situation. And this evil mouse takes over and starts killing people, and you have like a bachelorette party that's these 7, I believe, different women who are the 7 main princesses from the Disney universe. They're kind of the version of them. The setup for this looks absolutely ridiculous. I really hope that if that's the way they're intending to go, that they really find the right tone to make that work, because that could be hilarious. Judging by the trailer, though, I don't think they're gonna find the right tone to make that work. So yeah, that's kind of what we got. That's everything for trailers. Let's talk about our suggestion for the week. This is kind of an older suggestion and still absolutely worth it, but Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Older in modern terms of older, not like older in legitimate terms of older. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Forget everything you know about animation. Spider-Verse blew the doors off its revolutionary style that literally looks like a comic book come to life beyond the dazzling aesthetics, which they are absolutely dazzling. It's got tremendous heart, introduces Miles Morales perfectly, and juggles multiple spider people with incredible flair and humor. This is Absolutely worth a watch. It is a moving work of art. I just think this is something that should probably be on everybody's watch list on your yearly rotation. You watch it once a year because it's that good. So that's your suggestion for the week. Go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is currently streaming for purchase, only because the rights to this movie are a little bit of a mess, but it is for purchase or rent up on Apple TV Plus or on Amazon Prime. So there you go. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, probably here.